Alrighty traders, hello everybody. Today we'll be looking at the stock market. In particular, the Dow Jones is setting up with a really beautiful pattern. I want to share that with you. I want to share with you the one thing when it comes to the stock market or any market out there that's going to increase your success rate by applying one simple thing to the charts. I'm also going to talk about the Russell. There's actually a really nice setup that's happening with the Russell right now. I'm going to talk about oil. Oil looks like it's still on the setup of having a really big drop soon. I'm going to talk about the pattern, what's actually happening there. But also I want to talk about its sister or its brother, the USO market. There's something really amazing that's setting up with the USO market. It's been doing nothing for a few years. And I'm going to show you examples of when this happens, we tend to get breakouts, and when the breakout does happen, we tend to get big moves. So there could be really good time to get involved with the USO market. Maybe not right now, but we could be getting ready, right? Because we want to. That's the whole thing is we want to be able to get involved with markets before it makes the big move, right? So that's what I'll talk about. I'm going to talk about gold. Gold is probably expect more gold weakness on a short-term level, not a change in trend. Okay, I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about the silver. There's a bit of a silver V-top on a short-term level basis there. A bit of a false breakout pattern. I'm also going to talk about the silver mining stocks because I saw someone just recently in the comment section below saying that they're really worried. They've just lost, I think it was $3,000. So it doesn't sound like they've got a lot of money in the silver mining sector, and they lost a lot of money. And I want to talk about that and how you should be thinking about if you're trading or investing in these markets from here. And then what I want to do is I also want to finish off with why you're only 7 good trades away from making 6 figures and not 70. This is one of the biggest things that stops traders from doing really well in the markets. And I want to give you a bit of the template here to help you move forward through this year so you can understand why most traders don't do really well. And the biggest thing that helps me do really well throughout a 12-month period, I'm going to show you the template of how you should be thinking so you can stop yourself from over trading and trading the wrong way. Instead, how we could actually be looking at that. So anyway, we've got a lot of stuff that I want to go through with you today. So let's get straight into it. Let's actually start off with the good old Dow Jones from here, okay? So we're going to start off with the good old Dow Jones. And the reason why I'm setting up with the Dow Jones is, look at this here. This Dow Jones is actually setting up with a really beautiful pattern. Call it a flag pattern if you want to call it that, right? But look what's going on through here. So we've got the market's had a really nice move to the upside, and now we're just basing out through here, right? Bit of a flag pattern through here. Now, this is really powerful. The reason why is because when we actually look at these markets, okay? When we do that, what you don't want to see is you don't want to see that. Because what is that? That's the Russell, right? On the short-term level, that's the silver on a short-term level on the 4-hour chart and the 1-hour chart. But that's more like V-topping action, right? The reason why this pattern here is what I call it the L-shaped pattern. The L-shaped pattern is probably one of my most powerful trading patterns I trade, right? It's when the market goes down and it goes across, right? The L-shaped pattern, or it's the flipped upside down L-shaped pattern where the market goes up and then see the upside down L-shaped pattern? The upside down L-shaped pattern is my number one trading pattern I look for when I'm actually looking for my actual entry signal. There's a first link in the description there, guys. There's a free trading course I'm giving away. There's like 8 videos long. In that course, I teach you my trading system. If you want to get access to all the education plus my trading system, I'll teach you all the details when it comes to that. But for this here, I want to teach you just the setup. And the reason why this is so powerful is because if the market goes up like this, up and down, that's more like a topping pattern, right? But what happens if we go up and we just slowly go sideways and we start to do this here, aka strong up and then sideways? That's now what's called building energy, but that's now just holding there. The reason why this is powerful is we tend to get, not all the time, but we tend to get that there. We tend to get whatever the leg was first. So if we had an up leg here, then the sideways pattern, we tend to get another up leg from there, right? So if I just showed you some examples of what I'm talking about here, if I just go to say one of the patterns I'm looking for right now on is back here, right? I'm just utilizing this because this is the thing that this is the one that's actually on my mind. But look at this here, right? Forget the moving averages for now. In fact, you know what? Let's actually do this here. Let me go. Okay, cool. my software's doing its thing. Anyway, so let me duplicate you for a minute here, and I want to show you this here, right? And this is the pattern here, all right? We can get focused on moving averages and so on and so forth, but again, I'm always looking for the pattern. Look at this here. Whenever we do get this, what's called the L-shaped pattern, right? Strong up, see that through there? And notice how we just went slow down. We didn't do the V-top, did we? No, what happened? We just went down. See how it was volatile through this time, up and down, but guess what? It was developing that sideways pattern, and then guess what? We had to move to the upside. Now again, guys, this is for trading purposes, right? We're getting in, we're getting out. This is a trade, or a trader mentality, not an investing mentality, right? Now, don't confuse them both, right? Don't go, this is what the inflation number is, so I'm going to go trade the market based off the inflation number. No, right? We want a repeatable system. So the thing for me, guys, is I really want you to understand is that what's helped me do really well to the markets is that it's the same thing. Every day I look at the markets, I'm looking for the same pattern. Tomorrow, last year, you know, and all that sort of stuff, right? And that's what's helped me do really well, and that's what's helped my clients do really well as well too. If you'd like to work with me a bit more one-on-one basis, and for me to be able to help you and coach you, then just go to getjohnshelp.com. There should be a link in the description. That's an application form there. Fill out that, guys, and then I'll personally call you once you fill out the time and book your time. I'll personally call you to see if you're a good fit for what I'm looking for when it comes to coaching you and helping you throughout the rest of this year. So go do that right now. But the whole thing here is that it's all the same thing, right? And so what we want to have every day I go to the market just looking for the same pattern, because that's the repeatable system we want to be focusing on. So anyway, so back to the Dow Jones. So back to the DJ, right? And as you can see with the DJ, look what we're getting here right now, right? And if I brought this up here, you see the pattern? Whenever we do get this here, guys, it's really, 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 really powerful, right? Look at this level through here, right? Really powerful. So with all that going on through there, guys, I'm expecting to see some really nice, good, strong movement out of the DJ. Let's go check out the NASDAQ as well too. Let's go check on here. Right, so this is the NASDAQ, same sort of thing, right? Sort of the same sort of thing. And what I mean by that is this. Let's check this out. So we had this sideways pattern through here, but see how the market just held there, right? And now it looks like we're about to break up to all-time new highs from there. Looking at the S&P 500, same sort of thing, right? Look at this here. We're just getting the same type of a pattern here. Strong up. See the L-shaped pattern through there? And when you start to bring it down to more of a right? If I zoom right in, this is what it looks like, right? We had this strong move up through here, and we had a volatile, but notice we just overall went sideways, right? Why is that powerful? Ooh, because again, guys, when we see this here, and we see this pattern here, because that's what trading is about, right? Trading is not about using economic data. No, trading is a technical analysis based approach. We use patterns to look for entries and exits. We don't use numbers and inflation and macroeconomics and fundamentals. No, that is just now, if you're doing that, then that's one of the reasons why you're probably not doing well out of trading, right? Because you're trying to use an inflation number or an unemployment number or these numbers that come out, and then you try to approach it, right? Don't do that, okay? Just keep it simple. Keep it simple. And as I said before, guys, every day I'm looking at the market, I'm just looking for this. It's the same thing every single day. It's nothing new for me. Last year, year before, this year, right? I just thought, there's no guessing for me. There's no me trying to be smart and let me put all these different funky dunky indicators, right? Or let me try to see what what the dollar's doing today, and then gold's going to do this, and the stock market's going to do this, and the inflation's doing this, and the Fed's doing this. No, way too complicated, right? I open up the charts, I'm just looking for my trading setup. That's it. The end. No but. Who cares what but? Right? I'm just looking for my trading setup, because when I get my trading setup, I have a good chance of doing really well from that there, right? So, and then also the Russell here, and one thing that I really wanted to talk about with the Russell is there's a bit of a Russell sort of potential setup through here. And the reason why I'm talking about this here, let me go back to this chart here, right? The reason why I'm talking about the Russell here is this. Notice how we're just holding through here. So if I do a bit of a duplicate line through it, notice we're just holding all through here. Right, so we went up, we just see that overall sideways pattern through there, up and then sideways through there. So that sideways pattern, more like the L-shaped pattern, right? A bit of an L-shaped pattern, up and then sideways like that. So if we do hold here, we've got a low, low, and then also a higher low. And so if we do end up holding here and break up like that, that means we could possibly be getting ready for a really nice move to the upside. Now, here's one thing that I did say I was going to promise you. The one thing that you can do to increase your success rate in your trading, and that is, if you're trading daily charts, right? If you're looking for daily charts to look to get in to place your positions, even if you're not using the daily charts, always use a higher time frame, the time frame above it, right? So what does that mean? If you trade 5-minute charts, look at the 15-minute chart. If you trade the 15-minute chart, look at the hourly chart. I trade the daily chart, so look at the weekly chart. What am I talking about here? On the weekly chart, use a blank chart and one moving average. I've got a 24 moving average here, okay? A 24 moving average. Why 24? Doesn't matter. Use a 20 if you want, right? It's not really the matter. But what I want you to do is this one simple thing. If the moving average, and let me just squeeze this up here, I want to show you this here. If the moving average is flat overall, like it's just going sideways, like through here, it's flat, then that means there is no, what I call flow in the markets, no momentum, no flow in the markets, right? But whenever we do, see how when the moving average is strong to the upside or strong to the downside, up, and especially what's been happening for the last 12 months to the upside, see that through there? If whenever you're looking at the market, use the higher time frame. So for me, the weekly chart, one moving average. Bring it back to, as you can see here, now you're looking at this screen here, I'm looking at, what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Probably about 5 years worth of data here. I've squeezed it back because I'm trying to get an idea of where the moving average is. And as you can see, wherever the moving average is trending at the time, right? Trending, not where it's pointing. If the moving average is doing this and it points to the upside, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for, is it doing this or is it doing this? If it's doing this, then that means it's flat. That means there's no flow, so I should be standing away and being very cautious around that time, right? So now we've seen this here. What I want you to do is I want you to bring on it, and wherever the moving average is, in this case, we've been, as you can see, if all you'll be doing is looking for long signals through here because the moving average continue to be strong to the upside, you would have done pretty well, right? Now I know you're saying, oh, that's hindsight 2020, John. No, not hindsight 2020. Why? For the last 12 months, you can go back and look at my YouTube videos. For the last 12 months, especially when this drop happened through here, look at this. When this drop happened through here, now by the way, that was a 10% drop in the stock market. People were freaking out, people were worried, but I was telling my coaching clients, not only was I looking at the trend, the highs and lows, but I was saying the moving average is still strong to the upside. See that through there? It never once did this. It never once started flattening out through here. So I'm just like, again, I told my private clients, again, if you're interested in that, guys, go to getjohntop.com, but book a call, we can speak. But the whole thing about that is that just utilize that, right? Utilize that. And as we go through here, only look for signals, if you're looking for good trading setups, that are likely to make big profits and cut your losses short, increase success rate, increase your chances of jumping on a bigger profit, and increase your chances that if you do have a loss, it's going to be a much smaller loss. One simple thing, apply the moving average to the charts, and then that's through there. Now, once again, guys, when the moving average does start to flatten out, that's when you want to see. But as you can see, even for the Dow Jones, even though we've got a lot of, again, weekly charts, see this here? Look at the weekly chart. A lot of volatility, right? This here was about 5 weeks on the downside. But what was the moving average doing? See, the moving average just kept, boom, here we go, to the upside. What happened to the market? Bam, way we go. So even though we may get this few weeks moving on the downside, what we're looking at through there is like, okay, moving average is still trending up. We're not flattening out. Now, what you want to be careful of is see back here. See how the moving average started to flatten out through there? If the moving average starts to do that, then you know that we're probably possibly coming towards an end. And until that happens, again, this is just about increasing your chances of having a really, really, really nice trade in the markets here. Now, let's go check out Let's go check out. Boom. Boom, 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 boom. Oil market, right? So the oil market. One thing I'm looking at with the oil market is this, again, weekly chart. Weekly chart. Let's bring up the weekly chart here. What's the weekly chart doing? Well, we've been in this big sort of downward sort of pattern through, aren't we? So when we're looking at this weekly chart, as you can see, we hit this major resistance level through here, right? And now we're actually coming back down through to here, right? Really sort of strong sell-off through here. And so the one thing that I'm looking at right now when it comes to by looking at the oil market, had a brain fart just then. By looking at the oil market is that, as you can see, we've come up here and we've actually pushed to the downside. Now, if I let me bring up the actual daily charts from here, and let me just keep on one moving average from here. And as you can see, right, look at this here. This is more like a V top, right? As you can see from here, look at this here. We had a strong move to the upside, and then we had a strong move to the downside. See that through there? Strong up, strong down. That's more like what? V topping patterns. Now, if this was going to be a very strong move to the upside, what would we have seen through here? We'll probably get more like an L-shaped pattern, right? Where the market goes up, and then maybe we just get sort of a slow, sort of a down period, but more like a sort of slow period, right? So it's more like that's more like an L-shaped type of a pattern. We would have got something through there like that. But due to the fact that we actually got, as you can see, this is a daily chart, we actually broke out above this line, which is that weekly line, and then we came back down. That was the sign to say this is a false breakout, and then bam, way back down. And now we're actually being really, really, really sort of, there's a lot of pressure on the downside for me. So it's not setting up yet for me, for actual trade for me. But one of the big things about markets in general, right, is that for a stock to make big moves, or for a market to make big moves, it generally takes a bit of time for that to build up, right? And that's why we need to be searching, looking, scanning, browsing, building watch lists, and so on and so forth. Keep an eye on these things, because when they do trigger, that's when you can do really, really, really well. That could be your 5-figure trade, your 6-figure trade, potentially even a 7-figure profit or trade, if you know what to look for and keep an eye on. So this is one thing I'm looking for right now, because if we do hold here, and if we do continue down, this is the if scenarios, right? If we do continue down through here, and then we start to get the L-shaped pattern, see the L-shaped pattern? If we get that, and we get a strong bar breaking down through there, guess what's likely to come? The greatest shorting opportunity that we've seen in a long, long, long time. So keep an eye on that. Now, let's go flip it over to its sister, brother, whatever you want to call that, and that's the USO market. Okay? Actually, you know what? Let's actually go to this. Let's actually go to this here. Let's go to... The reason why I bring up the USO market for you guys right now is this. Check this out. This is what gets so cool, right? Now, USO. Now, why am I looking at USO through here? Now, if I look at USO, let me actually just bring up this weekly chart from here. This is a bit of a... Actually, you know what? Let's do this here. Right there, right through there. Look at this here. So if I bring this up, there's that through there. Notice how we've just been going sideways through here, especially for the last couple of years. Notice how we've just been sort of, see how we're in this very tight channel, right? I get excited when something goes sideways for a long time, especially for a few years or more, because look at this here. Whenever we do a few years or more of sideways movement in the markets, this is where the market is getting ready, in my opinion, to break out, right? The market goes through these phases. Whenever we go through these sideways phases, again, this is the weekly chart here. So that was all 1 year of doing nothing. But what happened when we actually did break out? We ended up going for a big move. So I don't know where it's going to break out. Is it going to break up? Is it going to break down? I don't know. But if we do break up through here, the USO market, and I know you guys are going to start to use, like, I don't know, guys, right? You guys are going to start to like, but John, you said the oil market's going to crash. Now you're saying USO is going to break up. That doesn't make sense. Like, again, I don't know. I don't care, right? Now, if the market does here, now, by the way, the USO market is, the USO chart here is not the oil chart. What is the oil chart? The oil chart is actually coming up from here. The oil chart looks like that, right? Where we had through here, we came down, and now we're developing this sideways pattern through here. The USO is actually upside down, right? So USO went up through here, and so on and so forth. Now, here's where it gets really cool, right? So by looking at this level through here, right, and by looking at this level here, once we actually do start to get the breakout from here, if we do get a breakout, that could be the start of a new trend. Let me show you. There's a trade that I did just recently, right? And I'll show you the foundations of why I did this trade. This is roadblocks from here, right? This is roadblocks. Now, why did I do a trade from here, right? See this here? There was a trade that I did recently from here. See that sideways pattern for many years? Now, if I go to my daily charts, right, and I bring this up here, look at this here. So this here, as you can see, this was the channel. See this channel through here? So it went sideways, and when we started to break out, I started looking for long signals, which I did get a long signal according to my rules, and I wrote it up just before the earnings, and I made about 170, close to 170% return with my options, because I had an option trade on this one here, right? But look at this here. As soon as we actually, that was the channel through there, right? As soon as we actually broke out above this level through here, as you can see, as soon as we broke out, we had a little bit of a pullback, but then look at the move to the upside, right? Look at that really big move to the upside. Why was that? Remember I said before about the markets, right? About the panel, about the patterns. The reason why USO is so exciting, and this happens all the time, guys. This happens all the time in the markets. Whenever we get these really long extended periods of sideways movement, especially for many years on a particular stock or market in through there, right? It's been doing nothing. The market's not going to do nothing for a while. When the market's doing nothing, there's been no trend, there's been no one really in control, it's just been sideways through here. Then when it does start to break out, guess what? Now it looks like it's about to break out and start a new trend. And when that happens, you can get in early and then ride that new trend to the upside or even to the downside. There's many trades that I've done that look like that it's been on the downside as well too, right? So sometimes we will get, sometimes we'll get a sideways pattern like this here for a long time, and then we get the breakout and we end up getting a pretty big move from here. I'll give you an example. Siri was a trade that I did. This is Siri. Siri, right? Here's a trade that I did. Now, why did I do it? Because, look at this here. What do we have through here? Right? Actually, you know what? Let me just, actually, I'll delete you off the screen, Right, now, look at this here. What do we have through here? See the channel? Look at all that channel through there. Right, so I'm squeezing my chart up a bit more now. But look at this channel. See that channel? 1, 2 years. When we got the breakout, see the breakout? This is where I went short. This is an amazing trade that I did. Right, back in, was that the start of 2023, wasn't it? Yeah, start of 2023. Beautiful trade in 2023. But I'm trying to show you examples of trades that I've done that are on top of my mind right now, and there's many more to come. One of the great, now this is what's called a channel trade for me. Right, I'm not going to go into the details, but this is channel trade for me is this, okay? And let me actually walk you through this here so you can understand this. Whenever the market does this for a long time, it's what's called building energy, right? It's doing nothing, it's resting, it's not doing anything. And there comes a point in time when the market starts to break out. Now, what I call a channel trade is that I'm here, but I'm also looking for my trading pattern right here. I don't just trade any breakout, I need my channel. And then I need my trading pattern right at the very end. And this is what happened here. Now, by the way, what did we get before the breakout? See the L-shaped pattern? See the L-shaped pattern? I'm telling you right now, guys, like, see what I'm doing here? All this stuff I'm teaching you from what? One chart and one moving average. I'm not even using the moving average on this chart. I'm just talking about the chart itself. There's so much power. One of the reasons why I find a lot of traders don't do well is because you're probably looking at stochastics. Oh, the MACD is oversold right now. Stop using that bullshit. Because it's stopping you. I'm showing you so much powerful things in the market of how these markets truly work on the deepest level. And so you can identify that. There's the L-shaped pattern and the breakout. Remember I said before, that's my trading pattern. And then we get the breakout. That's my trading pattern. But the trading pattern come off the back of what? the sideways pattern, the channel. I call it the channel trade. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful trade, right? And then guess what happens? Look at the move. Look at that move. All the way down. We're talking about an almost 40% drop from the downside. See that move there? I had put options on this trade. And then, away we go, right? I'm trying to share with you guys that if you're looking for big profits and small losses, which I'm going to get to very soon about the whole, you're just 7 trades away. I'm going to get to that soon. But I'm trying to share with you that whenever we get to that set, you're just 7 trades away. Now you understand a bit more about maybe some of the setups we should be looking for. You're not trying to trade 70 times a year, but I'm going to walk you through that in just a moment, right? But I'm trying to share with you here. Now, if I go back to USO, and I go back to this chart here, now you see the reason why I'm getting excited. If I go back to oil, this is the oil chart. And then if I start to bring up the oil chart, you can see here, now, let's clone you. See how we've been doing that for all that time as well too, right? It's been really doing nothing for a couple of years. So this is one of the markets. Again, guys, I'm not a individual, like I look at all markets. And if there's something setting up like it is right now, oil or USO, right? An individual stock, like I just shared with you a minute ago, like on Roblox. Roblox was the trade, as I said before. This RBLX is a real example of what I did just recently. And why was I looking for a good trade that made me 170% return? Remember, coming off the back of this channel here. So it's important what we look for, right? So unfortunately, what a lot of traders do, the reason why they're not seeing this here is because they're focusing on the wrong stuff. Well, the unemployment data is this, and the Fed said this, and they're cut rate, and therefore I should go do this. Well, so that's what the dollar's gonna do, so therefore gold's gonna do this, so therefore see what I'm doing? I don't give a shit about that sort of stuff. Is it my trading pattern? And do I have what's called a channel for a while? If I do, whenever we start the breakout, we have a good chance. Now, I do have losses, right, guys? I've had a loss this year. I do have losses. But if you're trying to identify those things that's likely to make big moves, you're getting in early before the new trend starts, I'm trying to show you a pattern that repeats again. I try and show you a trade that I did today. I showed you a trade that I did, a couple of years ago. That's just off the top of my mind when it comes to these what's called channel type of trades. They are the best, now channel trade, once again, guys, is you've got the channel, and then before it breaks out, I get my trading pattern, which is just the L-shaped pattern, right? Just the L-shaped pattern from here. So that's what I wanted to share with you from there. Let's go check out gold and silver from here. So gold right now, guys, just really expect a bit of a short-term drop from here, right? But nothing has changed when it comes to the overall trend. So daily charts, right? Remember, every time we make really big moves to the upside, there's inevitably, is that a right word, guys? We inevitably, when the market goes up, we end up going through, we eventually go through these sideways periods, or sometimes even a big drop period. Look at this here. We've just been going up for quite some time. So it's not a changing trend, right? This is where some traders get confused. One of the biggest things is you're not keeping on the big picture. This is just what? Just a resting phase, sideways phase. But remember I said before about the weekly charts. What's the weekly chart doing through here? The weekly chart moving average has what? Has always, for the last couple of years, has done that. So you wouldn't be looking for short setups. Now this is for daily and weekly charts. Of course there's going to be some really good setups if you're looking at, say, a 1 minute chart or 2 minute chart or 5 minute chart. What I'm talking about is if you're looking at an overall basis of what's happening overall from a weekly chart perspective and where the overall big flow is, then as you can see that you wouldn't be looking for, you'd just be looking for long signals and still be looking for long signals from here. But it doesn't mean, even though the moving average, doesn't mean we're not going to get a drop for a few weeks. We're going to get a drop for a few weeks, right? Doesn't mean we could get a drop for a few weeks and still just be in what? Higher, low, still on a beautiful upward trend from there. So it makes sense. So let's go look at silver. A lot of people have been worried about silver. It's like, John, the silver false breakout. There's actually really not a lot going on with silver, right? So look at this here. So forget the moving average for a bit. Let me just bring this up here. So if we have a look at silver on the short-term level basis, guys, this is what silver's been doing. it's really been doing nothing. Like, it's slowly going up, and we got a bit of a false breakout to the upside. So we may get a little bit of a short-term pullback. You know, it could come back down to here. Looks like that could be level from there. You know, we had this sort of move up, move down, move up, move down, move up, 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 up. Bit of short-term false breakout and a move down to the downside. But there's nothing really going on, right? And this is where we need to analyze the markets on its own merits. Gold is doing that. Gold is what? Weekly charts, strong moving average. Now let's go to what's happening with the silver market, right? Now again, this is just how I trade. We're starting to get an increase through here, aren't we? But it's not strong, right? See how it was strong through there? But then we flatten out. Now we're starting to pick back up. So right now, silver is doing something different compared to gold. This is where when you're doing your technical analysis, use it. Don't say gold and silver are. No, gold is this. Technical analysis. Silver is this. Technical analysis, right? And then we can start to go down to looking at the silver and the silver mining stocks from here. So if I look at the silver mining stocks and I look at what's going on from here from a silver mining, I had someone recently talk about how they just lost, I think they lost $3,000 in the markets, right? They invested in some sort of fund. Now, my question to you is, and let me see if I'll bring that up through to here. I'll show you what that comment was, because it's really, really, really important that we understand of what I'm talking about here in the markets, because let me see if I can find this from here for you guys. Okay, so let me show you this here. So this was the comment that I got recently here, and I really want to okay, so here's one thing I really want you to do, and I really want to sort of help out this particular person from here. User, that looks like, anyway, thanks for the update. Thanks for the update. This is obviously the gold drop through here. My North American silver mining stocks crashed on Friday through a fund I invested in called AG Silver Bullet. The underlying stocks could be viewed in their website using the holding in the search terms if you'd like. I've lost upwards of 3,000 USD because of Friday's crash. Should I cut my losses by selling the first thing on the Monday morning, or hold, and why? Here is the thing. If you are asking a YouTuber of what you should do, that is the wrong thing you are doing. You need to understand the approach of what you're doing. Now, if you're investing in gold, if you're investing in the silver mining sector because you believe that's a really good investment position, you are not getting tied to any short-term movement. Because guess what? In any big bull market, you're going to get periods of big drawdowns. You're going to get periods of market pulling back, right? Now, I'm not sure why. The thing is, I'd ask you is, why did you invest into this thing here? Why did you invest into a silver mining, silver mining fund? What was the point through there? What was your thinking through there? Now, again, you must understand, whenever you're going into an investment is not a trade. What you're doing right now is you're investing into something and then treating it like a trade. Completely different. A trade is, I'm looking for a trading pattern. Then I'm going to get in, I'm going to have good risk management, stop management, trade management, so on and so forth. That's what trading mentality is. An investor is, I'm getting into the silver mining stocks, so I see over the next 5 years or the next 10 years, we're likely to see really big moves, which, by the way, I do see, but I don't see that happening until probably maybe 27, 28, when we're in the thick of a really big bull market. I believe the recession is going to come soon, and when that happens, everything's going to get a bit of a pullback. But if you're an investor, you say, okay, for the next 5-10 years, I see this thing making really big moves, and I'm going to be part of it. And you're going to get these gyrations from here. I'm very fearful of losing more. Why did you, again, it sounds like you put too much money in there. Any put or guidance and the knowledge appreciated. Thank you for advance. God bless you. Right? And then you said through here, Thanks so much for taking the time to answer. God bless you. I'm exposed to 28 silver and gold mining stocks through the fund I bought. The biggest stock in the fund is First Majestic Silver. Again, like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? The thing that I really want you to understand is that you're just investing into a fund and let the fund do the work for you. Right? There is no shortcuts to success in these markets. And again, if you're an investor, you must understand this. An investor doesn't get swung out by these. Your investing mentality is that you're in it and you're going to go through these gyrations. You're going to go through drawdowns and pullbacks and, drops in the markets short term and all that sort of stuff. That's what you're going to go through that. You're going to go through that. But if you're invested in that, you have at least a 5-year view, I would say, or at least a couple of year view of a few year view of looking at that from there, right? And so through that time, guess what? You're going to get the market going up 20%. It might go down 10%. But for you to just invest in this one big silver and gold mining fund, I'm not sure why you did that. Because it's like, okay, well, it sounds like, you got into something because you thought, oh, well, I'm just going to be part of all these stocks from here, which is not a really good strategy, right? One of the best things I do say is that you do your analysis and you really need to educate yourself around why you're doing certain things. I would never just invest in a fund and they just do all the work for me. No, I'm going to pick the stock. I'm going to allocate 5% or 10% of my portfolio into that investment position and so on and so forth. Now, again, an investor doesn't, the market's dropping, so I'm going to get out. Like, that's not what an investor does. Investor gets in because they see where everything's likely to go over the next 5 to 10 years, and they're part of that process, and they let go. They let the market do its swings. That's not a trading mentality from there. So I hope that makes sense from there, from that perspective from there. And the last thing I want to share with you guys before I finish this market update is what I promised you is this here. Now, here is a template that I really want to let me go to the current slide for me. Here is a bit of a template that I really want to share with you, okay? You're only $10 away to $1 million. Now, here's the thing. I'm not saying you're going to do this, right? But I really want you to understand the mind frame and the framework of going involved with these markets for the rest of this year, okay? So a $10 to $1 million. If you start with if you have a $1,000 trade and you make it double, 100% return, that's $2,000. Now, remember I said before, I showed you 2 trades today as Siri, and then also my trade that I recently got out of, like literally just a week ago, that made me 170% return, right? So this is 100% return. 1,000 in the 2, 2 in the 4,000, 4 in the 8, 8 in the 16, 16 to 32, 32 in the 64, 64 in the 120. You're only $7 away. Now, the purpose of me bringing this up here is this. No, you wouldn't just start at an account with $1,000 and put a $1,000 trade on, right? And no, not every trade is going to be a profitable trade. That's not the point I'm trying to say here, right? What I'm trying to say here is that by you thinking you need to do 70 trades to try to make 6 figures, that's the thing that's causing you to go backwards, right? Because you're trying to find these small profits. But I just gave you a template today of channels. What happens when we get channels? The best chances of jumping on a big move, right? And whenever that happens, we end up making really big moves, right? Remember I said before about the channels whenever we go the sideways pattern from here. Last year I did a trade and it was actually on gold. Let me show you this here. It was actually on gold, and when gold actually broke out, this is the gold chart from here. When gold broke out of it's what? It's all the same thing, right, guys? See the channel? See that channel through there? See how it just went sideways? What happened with gold? I'm telling you right now, guys. Again, if you need some help, guys, second link in the description, book a call with me and I'll see if I can help you out. See that big move from there? Now, by the way, when we did break out, why has this been such a big move for the last 12 months? Because it's coming off the back of that. See, if you've been watching this video for the whole entire time, guys, you see what I'm talking about here. My first trade here gave me almost 400% return. Why did I make 400% return through this first leg up? Because I was ready for it, right? Why was I ready for it? Because it's the channel. It's the channel trade. It's the same thing. USO, oil, looking at individual stocks, looking at gold. It's the same thing. See what I'm saying through here, guys? It's all the same thing. So now we can see through here. So what I'm trying to share with you here is this, is that if for us to have the best chances of doing a 6-figure year for you, even if you're starting with a low number, say a $5,000 or $10,000 trading account. Now I like to use options for this reason, right? In the markets. Now, as you can see, what we're looking for the best chance of doing a double. Right? I just showed you gold last year for me. I showed you just the trade recently I got out of. We're looking for those trades. And again, we don't need 50 of those trades. Now again, yes, we're probably going to have some losses in there. So it may take you 15 trades in total. And no, not every trade is going to be a double, right? Sometimes you're going to get out with a 50% profit and not 100% profit. Sometimes you're going to get out with a 400% profit, like I showed you with gold. Sometimes it's going to be 170%. But you see what I'm saying here? It's like, no, again, you're not going to start with $1,000, okay? That's not what I'm talking about here. And you know you're not going to make money every single trade. And yes, you are going to have losses here, but I'm trying to show you, stop trying to take, even if you're starting with a $5,000 or $10,000 trading account, stop looking for 70 trades and small profits. I've got to trade every week to make the small profit. Stop it. Step back. Look at your look at it as a 12-month view, and then start to say to yourself, what are the type of setups on the charts? And I gave you a lot of information about what I just walked through today, about what are the type of setups that when we do get in, we're likely to make that big move. We're likely to pick up 100%, 200%, 400%, 500%, potentially even sometimes, I've had many trades that's done over 1,000% return over the course of, 4 or 5 weeks when we do eventually get the breakout. What are the trades that's likely to make a big move? And yes, we're going to have losses and so on and so forth, right? And then you can start to increase it even more. And then you can go to 10 trades. You're only 10 really good trades to making $1 million. And now, again, yes, I understand there's a lot more to it. Like there's the emotion part of it as well too. And no, I wouldn't expect you, if you're just trying to get ahead, to do a $250,000 position right now. You wouldn't be able to emotionally handle that. But I'm trying to give you a template through the years. If you eventually want to start to have, say, $1 million trading account, what do you need to focus on? What do you need to do? What happens if 2 or 3 years, that's your goal, is to have $1 million in trading account or making $1 million a year? You're not 100 trades away from $1 million account. You're only 10 really good trades away. 10 really good trades. So stop looking for 100 trades this year. I'm going to take 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 trades every single day. No, what am I looking for? I'm looking for those trades where I can get in, hold for a really good profit over the course of a month or more, pick up 100, 200% more. Cool, that's trade number 1. Now I've only got 9 to go and I'm going to make my $1 million this year. Now that's if I was starting with that there. I'm trading a lot more now. But even if I was starting from ground zero and I only had a $10,000 trading account, guess what? It goes back to this level here. What's the quickest way to get for me to get $1 million? It may not happen year 1, but over the next 2 or 3 years, what do I need to focus on through the entire year? What type of setups? What's the template? So on and so forth. So stop looking for these really big trades and then stop looking for a lot of trades, small profits. Try to look for these trades where you can get in, hold for a month or more, jump on a big profit, and then throughout the year and throughout the years, you can start to really increase it and start to become what I call the 1%er of incomers across the world.